This is Matt Donegan from Challenger Stories, and I'm here with Sandra Hamilton. Today's going to be a bit of a different interview. We're going to talk about an introduction to charity life with Sandra and what she's got going on. Fascinating backstory. Sandra's a real big personality. She's got a lot to say. Listen out for what she has. So, Sandra, tell me about what you're currently doing with your charity.
Hi, good morning, Matt. Thank you for having me on your show. I run a small charity. We do big things. Our motto is the more money we receive today, the more cancer research equipment we can buy tomorrow for UCL Cancer Institute. We put on about 3-4 events a year because there's me and I. My girlfriend Bafty helps me, and my girlfriend Julia and my daughter as and when we need help. On the day I pull in friends and volunteers. The latest event coming up is the Gymtastic Family Afternoon of Fun at the Manor Hotel in Elstree, Hertfordshire. They're doing it on a complimentary basis. We have Hartsbourne Golf Club. They are doing all the games. We have Benjamin Stevens, who are also sponsoring. And the fun part is it's a family day. So people, as you know now, are steering away from alcohol, but want to be part of the drinking culture. So a company like Sazerac Gins that have been going since the 1800s are bringing out non-alcoholic versions of all their alcohol. So they will be giving you a taster of what you can have that's non-alcoholic to match the alcoholic, whilst your children will be entertained in a safe environment. It's an all-weather event, all for £40 for a family of 4. That's including a full afternoon tea.
Sounds like a real bargain. And it's where again?
The Manor Hotel in Elstree, Hertfordshire.
I know it. It's lovely.
Oh,
Absolutely
it's
wonderful
beautiful
there.
there.
Yeah.
So if anybody's around, please do go to www.curecancer-ucl.org and buy a ticket now.
There you go. So we've got the call to action in there, which is good.
Oh,
Got that
yes.
in early. Sandra, tell me why you do this though, because that's the big point of interest. Challenger Stories is about people's challenges in running businesses or organisations. Let's talk about your challenges. Let's talk about why you're involved with the charity in the first place.
Right, my dad was diagnosed 2002 with non-Hodgkin's lymphatic lymphoma, marginal zone. There are 32 subsections of that type of cancer. I didn't know, but I also had it at the same time. He died in the obligatory 17 months. I don't believe in being told what to do. They told me go away and die 6 months, go away, die 3 months. I'm still here all these years later. But it's a challenge. The biggest challenge that I have found, and the reason that I started the charity, is the families scream, you've got to do something. The people going through it are put through hell for the fact that they're trying to appease the families because everybody wants to live. So I started the charity and I hooked in with UCL Cancer Institute in London, the Paul Gorman Centre, where our researchers straddle two worlds. The one of the researcher and the one of the professor by your bedside. So the equipment that we buy and install, 100% of monies we raise at an event go to buy directly for their wish list. They then take the knowledge from the research centre and they apply it to their patient, which means you don't have treatments. I had treatments every month, every 6 months, just to try and do something. But not terminal cancers cannot be fixed or treated that way. It's not like a tumour. You can see it, you can attack it. You've got cancer all over your body, like tiny little million dots everywhere. You cannot fight that. And for example, if you treat stomach cancer, but you've also got liver cancer, the treatment for one will annoy the other. So I had wasted treatment. I'm just very lucky that when I went into it, I was exceptionally fit and healthy. So I could cope and also mindset. So that's what drove me to do the charity. I didn't want people to go through what I went through for nothing. And unfortunately nowadays, cancers the road leads to stem cell. But stem cell has its own drawbacks. They take you to death's door so that they can wipe your cancer out. So think of a computer, it's got a virus, you normally clean it and you take it back to basics, reboot it and hope that your virus is now gone. They do that with your body. But then at that point, your body's very vulnerable. And unfortunately, in most cases, you get cancer somewhere else. So I've now got bone cancer, smouldering myeloma, and I've got first cell plasma dyscrasia, which is in the blood. But thank goodness, I'm back on watch and wait. So they watch and they wait and they count the markers. When the markers get too high, they will treat. But they've said it's back to stem cell. I made it very clear to my kids, I nearly died once. It wasn't a pleasant thing. I will not do it again. It's not to say that that would happen to everybody, but people need to know what they're putting their families through.
Yeah.
So we need 1 in 2 of us now get cancer. And unfortunately, most people don't become what I call specifically supportive until it actually affects them. And it's not always about money. It's about giving your time. It's about, so you haven't got time, you haven't got money, but you can sit and do a post. Most people have plenty of time to post social media, to actually physically just send a tweet out. I'm going to this event, come. Simple things like that.
Yeah. Sandra, you mentioned something just now which has been going through my head since we first spoke, and certainly been going through my head as you were talking just then, and that's about mindset.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a kind of overused word, and sometimes it's a kind of misunderstood word. But in order for you to do what you do, you're a pretty positive person.
Yes.
But I'm
And I,
sure there are challenges around that. So the mindset of doing what you do, you're very determined.
I'm determined, and my way of coping is I run. The quicker I run, the quicker I can run away. The more proactive I can be, the more chance we've got of finding a cure. It's hard, not just on us as a person that lives with cancer, it's harder on the family. Watching the family watch you basically die, go through hell, it's so hard. Children, especially, because they don't understand it, they don't get it. They're too young, their brains aren't developed enough to understand. And the baseline is I agree with dignity with dying, because it's not about living, it's about quality of living. If there's no quality, you can have as much quantity as you want, but it's hell.
Yeah,
It's purgatory.
yeah,
So if you were an animal, a beloved dog, a cat, a horse, whatever, goldfish, you put it out its misery, you wouldn't prolong that agony.
yeah,
Only humans do that to each other.
yeah. And understand that, and obviously it's quite a controversial subject for many. Anybody who's seen a loved one going through that challenge, the pain and suffering that they go through, super challenging. I think when people fight that hard, often they're not even fighting for themselves, they're fighting for their loved ones.
They are.
What does it take to get up in the morning and know you've got something which is so malevolent, so toxic inside your body, and be able to
It
pick
is.
yourself up
And
and go again?
it affects people in a lot of ways. I was an insomniac. I now have so much medication in me, and I actually sleep a lot better than I ever used to. But I wake up in the morning almost as tired as I am when I go to bed. I can do between 10 and 12 hours. And if you leave me, my husband comes in at 13 hours and says, that's it, get up. You've had enough. You're long time, my husband's wording is, well, long time dead, you can sleep then.
Yeah, yeah,
But I can't have an empty day. An empty day means you think. When you think, you get into your head. Headspace is probably the worst place to be. It's a minefield of questions and questions you can't answer. So I've always tried to find the answer. So doing the charity, I can ask the researchers, what can we do? How can we help? I think you'll find if you ask a person that's terminally ill, you will have most of the same answers that I've given.
yeah,
And the worst one, would you believe, is when people take a look at me and I park in a disabled bay. I'm having a bad day, I will use the disabled bay. If I'm not, I will just park where I can. And I've had people go to me, you're not disabled. And I turn around and say, I tell you, I swapped 2 cancers for one of yours. You can live my life for one day.
yeah,
You've got to push through, because it's, what's it called? A contradiction. So my heart went from a beautiful, healthy heart down to working 40%. They talked about changing in, having a heart transplant. And I said, if I rejected my own stem cells, what on earth is my body going to do with a heart? Somebody else is just going to get wasted. So I said, no, let's try and make the heart. It's a muscle. Let's build the muscle back up. I'm lucky it's working at 80%. But that means when I go for a walk and I'm having a bad day, I can't walk and talk. And like you've been speaking to me and I have to stop. I have to stop and think, because sometimes my head says A, B, and C, and D comes out, or I go off on a tangent. My friends laugh at me. I start one conversation, by the time we finished, I've gone through 30 and not finished the one we started with.
Is that because your brain's racing so fast? Or is that something to do with the medication?
A lot of, well, they call it chemo fog, chemo brain.
Okay.
So I don't think it ever fully leaves you. I don't, because in my case, I'm always having some treatment with somewhere. At the moment, I have immunology infusions every single month to try and help stop my body catching the common cold. So if I was to talk to you and you'd had a tickle in your throat, but you've not got anything, by that night, whether it's psychosomatic or not, I will be coughing.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it drops straight onto my chest, where's my weakness. So my heart at the moment is struggling. And the doctor said, no, stop walking. I go, but you don't understand. That's my love. Taking the puppy for a walk is my love. It gets me out of the house. It makes me walk. I'm in fresh air. But yes, do I struggle? Some days I stop every few minutes just to catch my breath and wait for my heart to stop racing. Trouble is, it's taking longer and longer to go back. But that's where the contradiction is. To make a muscle work, you've got to push through.
Yeah.
Pushing through is causing stress on the heart that's already stressed. What do you do?
Are you carrying that philosophy, that pushing through philosophy, in your
Yes,
everyday life outside of your
yes. Cancer does not cancer does not define me. It is not who I am. And I think people, once they can maybe take that on board, everybody is different.
yeah.
They said half the reason I'm here is mindset, the fact that I was so fit to begin with. But it's ethnicity, it's your weight, it's your lifestyle, it's what you put inside your body. Does clean living cure you? No. I tried that and it killed me. I lost 2 stone in under a month. And a friend of mine who went to, I will not mention the clinics, he said the cancer's gone. Within 6 months, he was dead.
Wow.
Yes, there are some people that it does work for. Again, I think it's a lot of mindset.
Yeah.
But I've yet personally to meet one.
So how much does mindset play in your, how important is it in the way that you deal with the illness?
If I allowed my mindset to go to the dark place, I just lost my mother. Sorry. I just lost my mother back in October. Ovarian cancer that was missed, and they said it was a cyst. And between November and the January, that had turned into full blown ovarian. Ovarian doesn't stay ovarian. She went into remission, then it moved, lungs, bladder, and then she passed. You have to look on the bright side. Anything. I said when I die, they've got to play that song. Look on the bright side of life, because that's me. I am as loopy as a loopy loop. I'm not blonde, I'm not ditzy, far from it, but I have to. Where else can I go? If I go to that dark place, I may as well just slit my wrists now.
What techniques do you use to keep yourself out of the dark place?
I do a lot of affirmations at night before I go to sleep. They have helped me sleep really much better. I have friends that do healing. A lot of people don't necessarily believe in it, but we all have the ability to heal. We all have the ability, if you want it enough, if you think it enough. And I do find affirmations at night help me sleep. I do a health one. I've got a list, unfortunately, grows every week or so of other people that have come down with cancer or got Parkinson's or dementia. Something's befallen them. But we need to stay positive. We need to stay strong.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, who's going to do it for us?
I love what you're saying about affirmations. I think lots of people, when they first hear about affirmations, they think it's, woo-woo. They think it's some sort of trend. Actually, sports people have been using affirmations for years very successfully. Jack Nicklaus was one of the first. Yeah, Buddhism, yeah.
What is it?
It's,
So many
yeah,
people chant affirmations. Look at monks. Look at people that live and it's part of their mantra, it's part of their daily life.
yeah,
And they live a much healthier and longer life than the rest of us.
yeah. And it's not just life. I mean, there's the focus on having a better and longer life, but when it comes to goals and objectives and to be able to kind of reset the mind to be able to focus on a particular thing, affirmations are incredibly important. They switch your psychology into the right focus in your mind to deliver, to deliver the goals that you want to deliver. So the fact that you're
100%.
doing that on a daily basis is actually quite inspiring. To hear that you practice that.
Yoga is incredible. To actually turn the head off for 5 minutes. Because as I said to you, if you go into your headspace, it's a dangerous place to head. Mind does play tricks on you and can lead you to the darkest recesses.
Yeah.
As they say, stay in the light.
Yeah, that whole thing about we are what our minds tell us we are, right? And our mind can tell us who we are. It's not
100%.
it's not us telling us who we are. So when you do those affirmations, you are focusing yourself in a particular direction.
Yeah.
And we let our mind race. When our mind runs free, it can take us into the worst possible scenarios.
And getting out, that's depression. I unfortunately have a son with it. It's not a nice place to be. But he's a half empty guy. I'm a half full.
Yeah, you certainly are.
But so touching on the affirmations,
Yeah.
there's a company called High that help people that have got cancer, they put it this way, they did hypnosis with me. Lady said to me, think of yourself as a 7-year-old. So it's coming to what you're actually going to say later. And talk to her as an adult talking to a child, to express how she needs to cope. So I was ulcerated. 83% of my body from the back of my eyes down to my rectum was full of ulcers, which is why I nearly didn't make it. They told my husband, go get the rabbi, the priest, whoever you want. She's got 3 days, she'll be gone. And I heard that somewhere. The reason I was in somewhere is the pain was so bad I couldn't eat, I couldn't function. So I didn't. And I shut down because I went to the place where the hypnosis person put me. My happy place being with my father, being outside, being with the animals, and explaining to the child, pain is relevant. I've learned, I got tinnitus really badly from 4 years ago on a horse. If I focus on it, believe it or not, it goes away. So sometimes you've got to, maybe it's in a way, it's an acceptance, I don't know. If you accept it, it can't do any more damage. Go with the flow. Don't, and that's the most important thing I can say to people, don't fight. Not don't fight as in don't try treatments, but when you try and swim upstream, you can't unless you're an exceptional person. So go with the flow. Going with the flow mentally, I feel, helps. It allows you to try different venues. Yeah, avenues, not venues. Go different avenues. Affirmations for me is good. Being outside, walking is good. Doing good things makes me feel good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it gives you a purpose, a why, doesn't it? And without a why, who are we?
100% agree with you on that.
Quite inspiring, actually, Sandra. It really is. Challenges. Let's talk a little bit about the charity. So, tell us again what the aim of the charity is.
My aims and goals is ideally my husband calls it, fancies has said, half empty. I would like to be able to raise £1 million. If 1 million people just donate £1 by asking their friends to donate just £1, and with that I get sustainability. The money can go regularly to the researchers. The interest alone on that money means that when I die, my charity runs on in perpetuity. My biggest fear is dying before I get sustainability, and please God, we get a cure. There's always something going to be something else. As we know, give God a plan and watch him laugh. So the money can go to do something else, but at least it's always there. So that's my actual aim in life. And I do it by doing 3. We have our staple, we have our grafts. That's June 22nd. That's at Aldenham Social Club. They host it every year. And I have judges that are crufts judges, my friends, because we're into the doggy world. We have salukis that we show and we do luring with. My animals don't just sit there looking pretty. My daughter's Saluki, she's trained as a pets therapy. We go to the Royal Orthopaedic Hospital in Stanmore to put a smile on people's faces for the tricks that she does. We go into the schools to help children realise that not all animals are to be frightened. If you learn how to deal with your fear and learn how to approach an animal, you're not liable to get bitten if you approach them the right way. Yeah. And a lot of dogs bite because they're fearful. Yeah. So if you approach them the right way, let them come to you, they have no fear and take the fear out of it. There's a big different outcome. Yeah. So yeah, we do that. So we have the Grafts competition, best rescue, best in breed and best mixed breed. And my sister-in-law does all the cakes. We go for a lovely walk around the water meadows after the competitions. And then October, we had the Hyde Park Half. So any of your listeners want to join in for the Hyde Park Half, please again go to my charity Cure Cancer at UCL Cancer Institute. You can't miss it, with the one with a big heart, half in grey, half in pink for girls and boys. At UCL. And then we've got November, our staple is the clairvoyant evening. My girlfriend who does healing and another girlfriend who's had her battle through cancer, she brings amazing messages across, whether you believe or you don't believe. It's the most amazing night out. It's the energies that come from a room of people that want to believe, that want a message, that it's the word that wants, and it puts a smile on people's faces. We have the most weirdest of things. One year, Sarah turned around and pointed to a woman. 5 people put their hands up. No, this is me. And she goes, no, it's you, 5 in, whatever. And the woman goes, and she goes, your mother says, why aren't you wearing my necklace? I've lost it. No, you haven't. It's in the room. No, it's gone. Is your husband at home? Yes. Phone him up. Pull the bottom drawer out, and there it was. So tell me, my girlfriend doesn't know any of the people coming. She's not given a guest list. How does she know?
Okay.
Again, it's positive thinking and the want. So that's a lovely evening. And that's also everything's at the Manor Hotel in Elstree.
Right.
Adrian Cook, who owns the hotel, is so lovely and so charitable. And yeah,
So, Sandra, I hope you don't mind me saying, but
no pleasure.
you're quite an inspiring figure. Your determination is
Yes.
so obvious. Your drive, the way you deal with it mentally, your mindset, your just that determination and drive is palpable. What do you find inspiring? What gets you out of bed in the morning and lifts you?
A crazy puppy coming and chewing on my nose saying, "Morning, get up and take me for a walk." I don't really know. I love bright days. I do suffer very bad with sad. I am very got a lot of Mediterranean blood in me. I do need the sun. I do need the warmth. The drive to get up is the world. I'm not going to waste this life. It's a short one. I've already been told 5 years I need treatment. We've had that conversation. Back to stem cell. I won't put myself through it again. I'm not saying to people you mustn't. If you've never had it and that's your opportunity, you take it. Whether you go through it again, it's taken me since 2015 to get where I am now, and health I am now. So at 65, to go through it in 5 years, I'm going to be in my 70s. I'm not going to go in as fit as I was. I'm not going to go in as healthy as I was. Will my body be strong enough? Will my mind be? My mind will always be strong enough.
Yeah.
Then it goes back to that question: quality over quantity.
What do you regard as a life well lived?
Doing things. I believe you're born like you have a book. Each page gives you options and you live your life through your book. It's preordained, it's pre-written. Sometimes your pages stick together. Sometimes if you look at palm readers, they'll say your paths are changed. So your book at that point, it's whether do you open that page or do you do that path. There's nothing worse than families making a wonderful baby, bringing in life, and then that life just sits there on the shelf looking at you, doing nothing, going nowhere. What a waste. I'm not saying you've got to do charity, just do something.
Yeah.
If you've got a goal and aspiration, try. If you don't have the means, there's always a way. Either go and work as an apprentice, gives you time for free. Then it goes back to like you and me. You want something done, ask a busy person. I find the hardest for me is I ask for friends for help that actually do nothing. And they're the ones the hardest to get them to motivate.
Yeah. So I keep on hearing an expression that seems to be used a lot at the moment, and it's the definition of hell is turning up at the gates of heaven and finding the person that you could have been.
Oh, I heard that one.
It doesn't seem like you're going to fall in that trap, Sandra. It doesn't seem like you're going to meet the person who you could have been, and it doesn't feel like you're going to be very different from what you are now. Would that be right?
100%. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
I go to bed looking like this. I wake up looking like this, tired, but tired and positive. But what can you imagine? It's such a waste. It's such a waste of life. Life is precious. You do not know. My niece died at 27. They call that, there's a special term and I can't think of it now. Amy Winefield, 27. My son had a brain tumour. You have to be positive. We could have gone the same way with my niece because it was the brain tumour. Unfortunately, he got a brain bleed through AstraZeneca, and that enlightened us to find that he had a brain tumour. So the bad apart from the AstraZeneca actually led us to the light. So
Really? Okay.
even if he hadn't had the brain bleed through the AstraZeneca, he'd have died because the tumour would have exploded.
Right. Oh, right. Okay.
So you have to look in the positive. The positive there was if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have done this, we wouldn't have known that, and I'd have lost him anyway.
Yeah.
So you can either look at the positive of life or you can look at the negative, and then it goes back to that mindset that we've been talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, look, this is predominantly a business podcast, right? And we haven't really talked about business because we've been talking about charity and the sort of fundraising.
But that is business, unfortunately. It is a form of business, unfortunately.
I completely agree with you. The definition for me of business is that it's an entity that markets and sells a product or service, delivers a product or service, and then counts in and distributes funds. That's essentially what a business is. There's no difference
That's what
in many respects from a charity.
that's exactly what I do, in that order almost.
Yeah. So even though it's not for profit, it's still a business activity. It can be defined by those. But as I said, even though this is predominantly geared towards a business audience, actually a lot of the things that we're talking about are hugely relevant to business, because when you're running a business, you have to have a positive mindset. It's very easy to, it's a really difficult thing, right? So you run a charity, it's it's hard and it's lonely. Running any organisation is challenging. What's your biggest challenge running the charity?
Getting help. It's basic getting help. My girlfriend Bafti, she's her husband, the family, they're lawyers. She gives me as much time as she can. My girlfriend Julia used to help on a more day-to-day basis. My daughter's a lawyer. It's getting people to help. It's frustrating because I have to tap into the same people, which is why I came to you. I need a younger demographic. I need the youngsters. They're the ones with the energy. They're the ones with the drive. And cancer is the one thing that will affect one of their friends, if not more, in their lifetime.
And then,
And yeah, no, as I said when we were talking before, I do beauty. Along came COVID. My class are 30 years older than me. Either they died of COVID, they got dementia, they got Parkinson's, but the end result was unfortunately they're no longer with me. I still do a few clients. And then the property industry, COVID did a number on us. But you have to look on the positive side. You have got to, as my father said, hunker down, batten down the hatches, shrink your purse strings. It's amazing what you can live off of,
yeah,
whether you like not to, because the money isn't there. It's not all easy peasy.
yeah.
There's good and bad in everyone in the property market as a landlord. There are good and bad in everyone, in every industry, in every personality. And make the most, speak to people. Like speaking to you, you can help me by getting the word out there. And if they don't want to help me, fine. But they want to help UCL, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If they want to help another charity working with cancer, I'm fine with that too. It's not about me, it's about putting the research in place, making sure that those that need it have the equipment that they need. And what was I found funny is I got a phone call from one of the head researchers, Tarek Enver and Raji Gupta, who run UCL. And it goes, I hope you don't mind. I go, that's past tense. They go, oh, yeah. So the new cell sorter you sent us, the government have, is it called seconded it? They basically said, we're taking it. You don't mind, do you? And I go, well, it's a bit of a fait accompli. They've got it now. So they sent me a picture of one of the soldiers with my kit that I'd only just all my supporters that support the charity have put all their hard cash in, and it's gone off to the government. It came back, it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in all walks of life, this was nothing to do with cancer. This is to do with COVID, but you help where you can. If it's not time, it could be a product. You might have a whole old stock that you were going to burn.
Yeah.
There's always a good use for that.
Okay.
Any charity will tell you that one. You run a camp, you've got one free space, give that space up for charity. In turn, it's amazing. That one person that might come might join you for the next event you do.
Yeah.
So helping me help you is a positive thing, and that does spread.
Okay. Paying it forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sandra, one last question. So, you're walking along the street and you bump into your 18-year-old self. What would you tell them?
Nothing to do with charity. Don't get married at 19. Saying that, my poor old man's put up with me for coming up for 46 years in May.
Wow, 46 years.
Try not to rush. My father always says I'm a bull in a china shop. My head works at that speed. My thoughts work at that speed. Everything's at that speed. Try and sit back and enjoy life. It's sort of like let's say you're at your son's wedding. It's gone by in a flash. Take a step back, breathe and enjoy the moment. Life is all about enjoying the moment. If a man's thirsty, you don't give him a glass of water. You give him the tools to dig a well. He's always got water. And that's how I feel.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty deep. Well, I guess. So,
But it's true in anything.
yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true.
If you're starving, give them the seeds and the wherewithal to grow. Then they're never hungry.
Yeah.
That actually came from another charity called Sambal Foundation. They're an Indian charity. They help, and that's their ethos. They teach people how to get themselves out of the trouble they're in.
Yeah. Well,
And that's sort of what you do.
yeah. Well,
With your podcast, you're enabling people to help themselves to know where to ask and how to ask.
Well, it's also what I do for a day job. I mean, my day job, if you like, is I'm an executive and business coach, and the foundation of coaching is, as opposed to consulting, the big difference between them is consulting, they come in, they do the job and they leave. With coaching, what you do is the equivalent of, you can sell a man a fish, you feed him for a day,
Mm.
you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And that's exactly the same premise. With coaching, coaching is you can provide the answers, but you're also getting them to do the work, because it's them who has to do it after you've left. So, and that's the same thing, and it's the same premise as you've just described there.
You don't want to go, sorry for interrupting, you don't want to die and you're remembered as, oh, I actually don't know. What did she do? What did he do? You want to pass your life and pass on your knowledge and give somebody something to work for, have an aspiration, have an idea. Don't waste this life, it's too precious.
On that note, Sandra, it's been inspiring speaking to you. You've left me with so many thoughts today. I'm going to go and live my best life, I think, off the back of our
Perfect.
conversation.
And anybody that can help, let's get that 1 to 1 million out. If you can ask your followers, I'll send you the link, my link to 1 to 1 million.
Yeah.
And that actually came from my friend Nana Akua from GB News. She's on GB News. She's a presenter I met on our very first charity event. We did 4,000 people, Zumbathon Ali Pali with Beto Perez. It was the most incredible day.
Okay.
And I've stayed friends, and she's so positive, and I love her to pieces because she does what I do: thinks second, speaks first. What's in your mouth? Up in there, come straight out there.
Yeah.
No filter.
Sandra, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for your time. As I say, inspiring thoughts. Let's keep in contact. Let's hear more about the wonderful events that you're doing, and your
Maybe you'll come.
fundraising.
If you know the hotel, would you be interested? Come.
Yeah, I will.
It'd be nice to meet you in person.
That would be fantastic. Sandra Hamilton, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Matt, thank you. Bye.